Hello all, we're back with another Chalk Talk with Tony. I'm your host Tmzoids, also known as Tony. And this week's guest, we have Spekt3r, who also wants to stay anonymous. How you doing, Spekt3r?
Hello, I am very well.
Very
Thank you for
well,
having me.
very well. Well, we'll knock the first question, the obvious question out of the park, right off the bat. And that is, where's the camera? Are we going to be able to see the infamous Spekt3r one day on stream? Are we going to be able to see him, you know, his wonderful face, live feed, baby?
That's still in the works, you know.
Still in the works.
Yeah, seeing as how my streaming continues, we'll see if I can invest in it.
So you're kind of like testing the waters right now. You're not too sure if you're very new to streaming, so you're not too sure if you're gonna invest in the camera and put in the time and the money into streaming yet. Is what I'm hearing.
Exactly. And what I want to do is get a microphone first, a decent microphone.
Decent microphone. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing you have a headset then, ordeal.
Yeah, I'm using a Hammerhead from
Uh,
Razer, so it's not that good.
you don't like it? Usually Razer products are always like, oh, so good. So
Yeah, I expected really high quality, but a lot of people tell me that my microphone gives off like a lot of noise, white noise. So I'm gonna work towards like maybe a Blue Yeti or something like that.
more professional mic that just kind of stands there. It's not like a headset.
Exactly.
Very cool. Hey, you never know. You could be one of those famous streamers like Night Blue, who never has a face cam. Trick2G
Exactly.
does it
Or like
sometimes.
Gosu.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The real question is Gosu a boy or girl? People still don't know.
Exactly, because he doesn't even talk, does he? Or
No,
she, whatever.
I don't think he talks at all. If anything, he types, and I don't even think he types the chat. I think it's just mostly just plays, and when he's done, he flips it off.
Yeah, it's so mysterious. Maybe I should do that.
Oh, you never know. Just stay the anonymous Spectre. Which leads me right into my next question. How did you come up with Spectre, especially with the three? You know, got the lead speak going on there.
Well, actually, my original nickname that I had, or gamer name that I had was Spectre, just spelled out regular Pecter.
Okay.
And I had that throughout like PlayStation, Xbox, all that stuff. But that was back then, when there wasn't like so much social media and all this stuff. So I kind of came in late into that, so I had to modify my name so that it would be original and nobody would have it taken.
Okay.
And yeah, and Spectre came from I was a big fan of DC Comics. He's one of the what's it called?
Superheroes.
He's one of the superheroes, but he's not really a superhero. He just kind of is there.
He's
He's
more.
just like a ghost who has like godlike powers. So they never had him as a, main character in anything because he's way too overpowered.
Uh,
So,
Now I'm
yeah.
seeing through you. You know, you want to stay anonymous. Your name's Spectre. You're this ghost-like figure. I get where you're going now. You know,
I
it's working.
actually didn't plan that. And so yeah, and then after that, when I started doing Twitter and all that stuff, I just had to modify it because everywhere regular Spectre was taken. So
Pretty
I was like, all
much.
right, I'm fine with the three.
You know, online, I think I had like an alias that just it worked, but I had to keep using different variations because the same thing. It's like it was such a common thing because oh Spectre or ooh, I think mine was like Crip or Crippa, which was not gang related. It was like wrestling related, but it was chopped down and just but understandable. So you got the
Yeah.
Spectre. You like DC comics. Who's your favorite DC character since we're on this topic? Is it Spectre or
Well, I am a big fan of Spectre, but since he doesn't have a lot of actual stories, I have to go with Batman.
really
He is
Batman?
my all-time favorite superhero.
Are you excited for the Batman vs Superman movie coming out?
I am. I am really hoping that Ben Affleck does well.
Were
That's
you
all I hope for.
were you nervous at first? Were you like, oh my God, this can't live up?
Yeah, I didn't like the casting choice, but then again, I didn't like Anne Hathaway, or yeah, I think it was Anne Hathaway
For
for
Catwoman?
Cat Woman, but
Hmm.
she did pretty good. And I
Yeah.
didn't really like Heath Ledger for the Joker, and he did amazing. So
Really?
it shows how much I know.
Were you so after the movie, you liked Heath Ledger as a Joker, or did you think this you
Yeah,
still?
he did amazing. He was pretty well.
Okay. I was just gonna say maybe you still thought maybe A, somebody could have done it better, or I can't believe they went with this person. Lo and behold.
I seriously don't think anybody could have done a better job.
Fair enough. I agree with you. I mean, if anything, that was probably the best Batman movie out of the three. I think some people would argue, but I think that was the best out of the
Yeah,
series.
I agree.
So now, since we're talking about gaming, when did it all start? It always seems like family plays a big role in gaming. It seems, brother, sister, mother, father ordeal. Is it the same with you, or were you more of a loner and just like, oh, I like video games, but my family is just like, eh.
Actually, yeah, it started with my dad. Um, I was actually the last child in my family, and I didn't even know about the Atari at the time, but my brother and sister had that. But as far as I remember, youngest I was, I started with the NES.
Really?
But yeah, my father got the original NES, and it came with like a bundle of like 100 Nintendo games, like Ice Climbers, Excite Bike, all those stuff. So it was pretty fun.
So your dad and you played together, or did he just buy it for you, or
He played some games. He played Centipede, Galaga, the simple stuff.
very simple?
I played Mario Brothers and all that.
Would you have a specific game that you really enjoy and liked on that system that you would just always go to, always play, or?
Yeah, and it was actually a funny story because I told my dad, I was like, "Give me Super Mario World," because I was in love with Yoshi at the time. I was like, I had to have Yoshi, but what I didn't know is that it was for the Super Nintendo, not the regular Nintendo. So my dad got me the latest Mario game, which was Super Mario Brothers 3.
Okay.
And at the moment, I was like kind of sad because I was like, "Oh, there's no Yoshi. What the hell?" And it ended up being my favorite game of all time for like any, it's like on the older consoles. Like I replayed that game and beat it like at least like 20 times or something like that.
So
It was amazing.
your main goal was to get Yoshi, but then ultimately there's no Yoshi, and then how's
Exactly.
very it's a kind of different, interesting way. It seems like there's a lot of Nintendo fans. I guess Nintendo, kind of started off gaming, I guess you could say, when it comes
Yeah,
to consoles.
I would say it started it all.
So would you say you're a Mario fan, or did that kind of change down to the road? Are you more Sonic? I guess that was a big rivalry back in the day, was Mario or Sonic?
Back then, I was just a big fan of exclusive Nintendo games and Capcom, like
Oh,
uh, Street Fighter, Mega Man. Um, what was that other one? Metal Slug, I think it was, or I think that was Konami. I'm not sure. But yeah, those games were, the main ones. That was just like keeping me entertained for years.
did you ever decide on like going to tournaments or whatnot for your what is it from Capcom? Street Fighter?
No,
No,
yeah, I
with
was
the
like, we didn't have that.
with the big old controller and you're
We
just
just
like pounding on the keys.
we just had the bragging rights, in the neighborhood. Like, yep, I'm the best, and that's about it.
So you're playing the NES. You have all these games. Your dad kind of bought them. He played the simple ones, like you said. And then you're moving forward. Did you stay with Nintendo, or did you kind of move PlayStation? I'm sure comes along one way or another, but I guess next, would be the N64. Did you go that route, or were you PlayStation, or is this when the computer games kind of kicked in and started, or?
No, I didn't get into computer gaming for a while. From NES, I actually went straight forward to Sega Genesis because my brother had that.
Really?
And he actually, yeah, we played like X-Men and Eternal Warriors and all these brand name games that I've never heard of before.
Hmm.
But it was pretty fun.
Side note, what's your favorite X-Men character?
I want to say Gambit, but I know everybody is gonna give me shit for that.
He's like the bad guy, but the good guy at the same time, one way or another.
Exactly, and it was just all about the cards. Like you, when you were a kid, you bought like a deck of cards. Your parents would be expecting you to play, like solitary and stuff like that. No, you're just throwing those things around all around the house.
I I remember, back in the day, I was just like, oh, I wish I could just do that, like set it on fire or something, just whip it at somebody, and boom.
Exactly.
Oh man, love X-Men. Probably Wolverine. I know it's a generic answer, but he is probably my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's
he's kind of like the
it's like the
everybody's fanboy right now.
I don't know what it was. I mean, Cyclops just seemed too of a not womanly, but he just didn't seem like he was like, oh, like the rules and
He
we
was
can't
kind
do
of a wimp.
this.
You can see
Yes.
it. He was kind of a wimp.
Oh man, at least somebody agrees with me. Other people be like, no, he was a good leader, probably the best leader.
In the comic books, yeah. When it came to the series, the animated series, they made him too much of a wimp. But yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so you moved to Sega now. Yeah, I'm guessing you played Sonic there. I'm trying to get people to be a Sonic fan. It just seems like I said, everybody's like Mario, really Nintendo heavy.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
funny. I didn't actually play Sega. I mean, Sonic until PC.
really?
Yeah,
That's not
my
the.
brother didn't have a single Sonic game.
Oh my God. I just don't understand. I thought he was very popular, and it just seems like everybody I talked to, like I said, it was always Mario. And then if they do play Sonic, it was on the computer or later down the line.
Yeah, I guess he was popular, but I had never heard of him. Like I said, like I didn't even play like Sega Genesis. It was just because of my brother, and like it was whatever games he had. Like I didn't know anything else about that.
Hmm. So you never really made the shift. I mean, I'm sure it was a lot of arguing. I want to play, you can't play. This is a one-player game. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, actually, for the Sega, it was a lot of one-player games. So it was either I play or him play. Like we never, there's nowhere like any co-op games.
Yeah, I can
Which,
understand that.
it's kind of boring, but that was alright.
I mean, people like watching video games, which we'll get down the line there, going onto Twitch. But so you got that. You're playing with your brother now because of the Sega Genesis. Uh, is this where you move forward now? You stick with Nintendo still? Like I said, you
Uh,
got the N64, or is this when PlayStation I think is starting to creep by and come along?
it was actually funny because I skipped Nintendo 64 and the GameCube, and then once again, my brother he bought the PlayStation 1.
Oh,
So from there, it's like I got to play all these games: Resident Evil, Spyro,
are you
um, yeah, those ones.
are you more of a shooter RPG kind of guy, or at this time, like I know you probably didn't know the definitions back then, but like now, would you
Yeah,
say?
I would say yeah. I was like the horror games or shooter. It's like the combination. I was like Resident Evil. That was the first game that made me like hate horror games, especially because it was Resident Evil 2. It was back then when it was just like creepy shots of zombies. There wasn't even like an animation or anything. So yeah, that stuff gave me nightmares, but it was worth it. I played like most of them on the PlayStation. It was pretty fun. And from then on, it was the Xbox, and of course, that got me into shooters. That's the first game that I bought for that was Gears of War, then Call of Duty, and all that.
Oh.
Those were fun, especially because the Xbox 360, that had the online multiplayer. That was
Hmm.
like, the first consoles to have it, and yeah, it was
So,
awesome.
lots of questions here. I was about to ask, oh, I guess then you're a Sony fan because usually when you stick with one console, you go with the next one because it was like I think the PlayStation 2 was out, and then shortly after, I think the first Xbox came out. I'm not too sure about the timeline, but it looks like you're more of a Microsoft Xbox fan, huh?
I actually just kind of went wherever my friends were. It's like if my friends already owned a Nintendo, then I wouldn't get one. I would just play with them. And my brother had the PlayStation, and then I bought myself the Xbox 360. So I just pretty much whatever everyone else was playing at the time, I was there. I wasn't really like a fanboy of a certain console.
Fair enough. See, very neutral response. Everybody respects you still. We'll see down the line other answers. But
Yeah.
that leads me right to the next question, the tough question. Call of Duty or Battlefield? Ooh.
I'm gonna have to say Call of Duty, just because that's what all my friends played. I did like Battlefield, but no one I knew played that. So
Let's
of
be
course, I
honest.
was there prestiging over and over for, some reason. I don't know.
It was
I
the
never had a
story.
point to it.
It was the story. Let's be honest. Battlefield kind of had a better storyline down the line. I mean, looking at it now, they probably still do have a better story, but Call of Duty is more, I guess, now is more multiplayer, play with your friends, 13-year-old kids yelling in the microphone that they did your
Exactly.
mom, yada yada yada, whatever the case may be. So I'm guessing you were one of those 13-year-old kids then. We're getting to that point. You're on the microphone. You're like, you suck, yada yada.
No, I actually when I started playing, I was probably in junior or senior high school. So I was pretty much up there, you know.
So,
Um, I did find that a little bit annoying though. Like I played Call of Duty 4, that's where I started, and that was fun. You know, everybody mature had it. And then after it got really popular, you know, Modern Warfare 2 came along, and that's when you got all the little kids joining into the game. And that's when I found out there's an actual feature in the Xbox that lets you mute everyone who's not your friend. And I love that feature.
so you're more the older, mature. You're just like these kids. Why? Why am
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna tell you not to play. I just don't want to hear you.
I?
That's all.
Fair enough, fair enough. So you're more of a Call of Duty fan. You're playing online. Was that a culture shock for you? Like that was the first time online experience. You didn't have to go to your friend's house anymore. You could be in your home and you can still talk to your friends and play with your friends. And you don't have to worry about the split screen or screen peeking or whatever the case may be. Was that kind of like really like amazing to you or not yet? You were kind of like, oh, it is what
It
it is.
was it was pretty amazing when it first came out, but then like I did notice, you know, it's like nobody had to leave their house anymore. I would go to my friend's house and they would just play Call of Duty while I'm there. So it's like, all right, you know,
So you're
I drove all the way here, but okay.
So you're more of an outgoing guy, you could say. You weren't really fully like into video games at that time, I guess. You liked video games, but at the same time you're still like
Yeah,
sunlight, life.
well, I like the party games, you know, that you can actually play locally. I like that
hmm
more, like Smash Brothers, Rock Band, all those games that got you together. Those were more fun to me than just being online and talking through a headset.
I can kind of agree, because you're out there, you're not out there, but you're with your friends there and you're playing and you can stop and pause, chit chat, grab food, you know, whatever the case
Exactly.
may be. So now you got the Xbox 360. You're playing the Call of Duty. You're playing other games, of course, Halo and Gears of War and all those, exclusive titles at the time. Did you go on continue to be a Xbox fan, or when did you kind of get into the computer? I know I asked a lot of questions, but did you stick with consoles for a little bit longer? You said you got into computer gaming late. Was it just like you're bouncing back from console to console? You're still playing with your brothers, maybe?
No, it was actually because of the new generation consoles. When it was like the Xbox One, the PS4, they just it didn't change anything, you know. They just increased the graphics a little bit and they were still asking for like hundreds of dollars, and that's just what turned me off from consoles. I was like I can build myself like a really nice computer for that much, you know, money.
Hmm.
So that's what made me change, you know, and then after that I found out about Steam and all that. And there was a game called Happy Wars that was a free game on Xbox, which was a MOBA, but it was like a friendly MOBA. You know, it was like had little cartoonish guys, three guys to choose from, and there was like parties of 10v10,
Okay.
and I really liked that. And then after that, since I like that the MOBA stuff, you know, they told me about League of Legends, and I was like, all right, I'll try that, you know. And I've been addicted to that ever since. It is like my new crack.
Alright, so let's back up a little bit. So you don't like the generation consoles anymore because they're asking for a lot of money. You're like, I could get something just as good if I built it in the computer. You get into computer gaming, kind of pretty much. You get Steam. Uh, on Steam, is this where kind of Spekt3r really came to be? Like, is that where you really started with Spekt3r, alternating your name because it's online now? Uh,
Actually, it was ever since the PlayStation, because I think the PlayStation lets you create a profile for yourself.
mhm.
I think it was in the memory cards. Like you could name it anything you want, and you know I would have my own memory card. My brother had his own memory card, and then on Xbox, you know the gamer tags, I had it as well. You know, I said Spectre, and then afterwards, you know, it's like um, it was still spelled correctly. And then when I switched to PC, then everybody had that name. So that's when I had to alternate it.